Mark's up. He says, Bradley, I need to make the argument that it's better for a company to have all their products on one primary domain with their website like www.myco.com and not have a website like www.myco.com and their products on subdomains like products.myco.com with the two interlinking. Give me all the good reasons why one domain is better. Okay. I don't do e-commerce, and this sure sounds like an e-commerce question mark. This sounds like an e-commerce question, Mr. York. Anyways, I really don't know whether that's true or not. I honestly have no idea. I can tell you from like just an assumption that if you have like the products on subdomains, would those be separate sites? Or would they just be like somehow a product page on a subdomain, even though it's all hosted from the same CMS or website platform or whatever? I don't know. I don't do e-commerce. That's why I'm even asking that question. And so basically, if anybody here has an idea or an answer for this, that's great. Otherwise, Mark, I'm going to have to pass because I honestly don't know what to tell you.
Right. Well, what I'm thinking is that, I mean, if you have their website, like here's the thing, usually when you're doing e-commerce, you want to have an e-commerce solution, right? And by e-commerce solution, I mean something like Shopify or not Shopify or WooCommerce, something like that, right? So the templates that are optimized for a institutional website might not be as optimized for an e-commerce, right? So that's the only reason where I would definitely go ahead with a subdomain with a completely different template that's optimized for an e-commerce, because on the e-commerce, the action is way, it's on the spot. So people can actually click on the thing, add to cart, pay, and that's it. Usually when you're trying to mesh the two under the same template, even further if you're doing WordPress, usually it doesn't end up too well. You know what I mean? Because the institutional or corporate templates or themes are not optimized for e-commerce for the most part, because they have a lot of stuff going on. When you have an e-commerce store, you want to have the least amount of steps between the person landing until they check out. You know what I'm saying? So the goals of the websites are completely different. So one, you want to showcase your services or whatever, and on the other hand, you want to showcase your products and you want them to purchase. That's why I would think that having a subdomain with a different theme would be a better idea. And then you can rank the products. You can try and rank the products, and then how the thing goes with subdomains being more protective, or they're protecting the main domain.
Yeah. If I can add real quick. Ahead. If it's e-commerce, look at what Amazon does. I mean, because they have a huge number of subdomains. For example, they have music, they have KDP, which is the Kindle Direct Publishing. They have the video, they have S3. Everything they do on a subdomain, and they do that because they know that the subdomains that they add will power up the root domain and then shoot back power into the subdomain, so they start feeding off each other. Now the problem is that when you're a one-man gang, a one-man show, is that you have to maintain, when you get to 10, 15, 20 subdomains on the same website, those have to be maintained. And so it's kind of how much work are you going to put into it, and what the return is going to be for the time that you've invested.
Yeah, and I think he's trying to make the argument that to put them all on one, which would make sense for efficiencies and ease of management. So I get what you're saying, Mark, and I may have misunderstood the question when I read it the first time, because I think what you're saying is having one subdomain where all the products are listed, and then having the corporate site on the root is what you're saying. I think if I'm interpreting the question correctly, then yes, then Hernan's answer makes a lot of sense, and I get that, because I would totally agree that if you have like if it's e-commerce, that I would and they have their corporate template on the root domain, that you'd want to have an e-commerce type solution on a subdomain, because again, the functionality wouldn't be present in the actual root domain type framework, right? So if that makes sense. However, if it's like, just for example, if it were like a plumber, right? And so there's a corporate domain, right, saying like, hey, we're a plumber in this area, give us a call, blah, blah, blah. And then here's all our services on a service subdomain. To me, that wouldn't make any sense. That's not e-commerce though, right? That's just listing their services and hey, call us and we'll come give you an estimate. So that would be all on one root domain. But as far as like if it is e-commerce, which is how I'm interpreting the question, it would make sense to have it on a separate subdomain, because then you could have an e-commerce platform on the subdomain where the company's website would sit on the root. Any other comments on that, guys?
No, I agree with what. Yeah, no, I agree with what you just say. Like it's all about what the website is designed to do, right? So it all comes down to that.